Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Terry Morrow and I'm here with Catherine Haleko. Say hi, Catherine.
Hi.
Usually on this podcast we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Catherine and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. This week we continued with Season 7 of The West Wing with the episode Message of the Week, but first, So You Think You Can Dance? So, that was weird. I felt like the results had really not a whole lot to do with what we spent the first 55 minutes watching.
Yes, I agree. I mean, a few of them I could see, like that very first one.
Yeah. I really felt like the rest of them were kind of doomed after that because she was, oh my gosh, she was just flipping all the heck over the place. In heels, and it was so fast-paced, and it was so trick-heavy, and it was great, and then everybody else just looked kind of slow and plodding, and it's like, well, that doesn't look as hard as what she did.
Right.
So I figured she had to be in, and I figured that Madison had to be in, because otherwise the camera would have nothing to seek out in any crowd, because boy, does it love her.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume.
And they showed, during one of the cut to commercial, they showed her, like, having a crying reaction face.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, she's in, because they wouldn't show that if it was a crying because I didn't get it face.
Yeah.
Because they're not allowed to do that, right?
Exactly.
As we discussed previously, like, they have to just grin and bear it every time.
Right.
But yeah, like the one... Naz, who's a ballroom dancer, and she killed her hip hop. Like, she was
theoretically, I guess.
I liked it. I thought it was really good. Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Well, they agreed with you. So,
but then they didn't pick her.
I know. That was like, I figured she was a lock, and then people who they said they really didn't like tonight, got there anyway, and she. You know, we have to go by all the other things you did before that. Mm-hmm. Okay. It would be a lot more meaningful if we could remember all the things she did before that.
Yeah. They needed, like, the quick montage of... I guess they did a little bit of that with some people.
I guess they did. But this is sort of the problem with there being so many sort of interchangeable young people that you don't really... There's only a smattering of them who you really have a strong sense of. It was weird. The girl who went first, I feel like every time they show her, they have to say, remember, she's the one whose dad's in jail. I don't remember if they did it tonight, but it's like they do that every time. They always flash back to her saying that. It's like, that's what you want to go through life, is your brief
Here's
bio.
My elevator speech. Yeah, no.
Yes, but she was very good, and it amused me as a fellow short person when she was the first one called and she had to go sit in the chair and it was a little bit high and she was like having to climb up into it. It's like, oh, sister, I've been there. Really, they couldn't just make them regular chairs. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine that it's a particularly tall crowd. Probably more than one person would appreciate being able to have her feet on the floor.
Right, because I think the girl who danced after her, Melanie, who was the salsa dancer. Yeah. She was even smaller than Mariah, who's the one we were talking about. But she didn't make it through.
Yeah. It was, I mean, I didn't feel like there was a lot of really super-duper great dancing other than that first one. I don't necessarily understand all the styles. The last one, the ballroom sister, I guess, whose brother is also in it, and they did the Mandy Moore number. I didn't think she did very well. Did you?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
All of this predicated in the fact that, yes, I could not do anything even close, and she's probably tremendously more skilled than...
Right. You know, I mean, this is a given for all.
Exactly.
It
just
seemed
like she was, step, stop, do whatever she's supposed to do. It just was kind of plotting. I thought. A lot of them sort of were, because it's hard to do a style that's not your own. And I guess that's the whole thing with this competition. But, and every time they said something like that choreography was really hard, I'm like, does the choreography have to be really hard right now? Couldn't they just give them something to excel in?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have to, this is supposed to be showing them at their best to get to move on.
Right, because they're already doing something that's outside of their style, which I get. They need to do that because they need to make sure that they can.
Yes. But then again, that first number seemed super hard and she nailed it. And nothing after that looked anywhere near that hard and they weren't nailing it. Mm-hmm. So she'll probably be the first eliminated since she seems right now to be
the best one.
way better. But, did you notice that at the end where they mentioned that this is the most exciting top 10 in the history of the show?
We're talking about the boys and how this is the hardest group we've ever had. I'm like, okay, yeah.
I don't really think these are the most exciting 5 girls I've ever seen, but okay. Good on them. They just like Sophie, they were the blonde girl. They were so hard on to the point where I was feeling like, could somebody say something nice to her?
Please give the compliment sandwich like you're supposed to do.
Yes, exactly. Oh my goodness. Right. And then she got in. So, hey, never mind.
Yeah, I know.
Some of them, they did well up till now, but we just didn't like what you did tonight. And some of them we just didn't do what you did last night, but we like everything you did before. It just seems so, I don't have a good grip.
Right, please pick one. Yes,
it seemed like they had a list going in and they had to fit each one in to the, it was okay, how are we going to excuse that this is the person we're taking? So, I don't know. Right. They all, they're all probably worthy. And I know we both listened to a podcast this week with Sophia, who was one of the ones who didn't get in.
Yeah, which surprised me because...
And it's now I think back to that podcast, she knew.
She knew at that time,
the whole thing that she didn't get in. I guess Kristen Burt just wanted to slip her in before... Well, there was still some suspense working on her behalf. But...
Yeah, I was surprised when she didn't get in after that conversation.
Yeah. Oh, well. It was just... It's why did we need all of that if it wasn't going to matter particularly?
Right.
Oh, well. It was nice to be able to see each of them do a complete dance by themselves. Mm-hmm. But... I don't know. I can't wait to get to the actual show.
But really, this part of it has been half the show. I mean, by the time it's all said and done.
That's true. So. But these things of cutting half the people in one episode is really kind of brutal.
Mm-hmm. It is, absolutely.
Because everyone that dances, you go, 50-50 chance you're going home today.
Right. So I'm not going to get too attached.
Apparently, even if you nail it, there's a 50-50 chance you're going home. So...
Right.
Good luck. Well,
absolutely. Yes. We got to see Sasha and
That's
Emma
right.
in a fleeting moment. I don't think Sasha and Emma even got to talk. Sharna at least got to speak.
Yeah.
And Sharna had a 10-second soundbite.
It looks like they're back next week also.
I would guess.
Cross-pollination.
With the boys.
And one thing we learned from that podcast was this all took place in May, so it's
right.
It's so weird. It's such old news.
Mm-hmm.
And also we learned that quite a few of these people are basically professional dancers already. Right. So I think of this as being amateurs getting their shot, but they're on tour with this and that, and they're doing all this other stuff. And then, I guess I'll go do So You Think You Can Dance. Try to get my face on TV. So I feel slightly less sad for them.
But, the Sophie that made it through, the blonde girl with who's from, Tennessee. I'm pretty... Wasn't she the one who was my little sister is my best friend? And, crying because she was moving to LA to become a dancer and she was leaving her little sister.
Yeah, it's quite possible that was her. Yes, that is good memory. I remember there was somebody. Could have been her.
I think it was her. So at least she's not a professional.
I guess.
She's just someone who really loves her little sister.
got to bring that back out so we remember who she is.
Sure they will.
She's the big sister. Right. Let's eliminate her so she can go back home.
Oh, dear.
Well, good luck to them all. I guess they get a month or two off now while the boys get their chance.
Right. But, I mean, this thing happened seemingly in one day.
Yes,
it did. The performances, obviously they had a little bit of time to learn it, but...
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's really, the show plays pretty fast and loose with time. It would be really interesting to see a timeline of this thing spread out. But I do wonder what they've been doing with themselves between the end of this and the beginning of the live episodes, which is going to be August.
Right.
Second week of August. So did they just go back to their lives and then say, hey, come on back? It's time for the live show.
Rehearsing, training, something.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's kind of a mercy because they can go home and rest and recuperate. I noticed the girl who did that first. I wish I knew these people's names. It's just so much. The girl who did that first dance, I was wondering
Mariah.
what that black part of her costume was, and then I realized later it was tape on her shoulder.
That tape, yeah.
So I imagine they leave this experience, requiring some chiropractic and orthopedic care,
physical therapy.
That's right.
Yes,
to get them back in shape for the live episodes. Go for 3 months and get better and practice all these different styles. It's weird because it gives you feel like it should all be happening at once. Like it's this huge immersive experience and they blow through it, but it's clearly not. So onward.
Yes.
So, shuffling on over to The West Wing, we watched the episode called Message of the Week, which was largely a Vinnick episode. Some Santos in there, absolutely zero White House.
Right. The show is called The West Wing, but you never ever got anywhere near the West Wing.
We did not. And given the nature of the White House storylines so far this year, I was just as glad to take a week off from that. Thank you. But it was completely campaign heavy. It was super de-duper politics heavy, which made it, a little uncomfortable for me.
Not your
I was
favorite.
Feeling like hitting the fast forward button. Plus, which also... Why, hello there, Vinnick staffer, who is extremely important for this one episode and is never seen again. Godspeed to you, sir.
Leon is his name.
Yeah, he was in the beginning. I was going, wow, they're really pushing this guy. Have we ever seen him before? I don't remember him, but he's given lip to Bruno and to, he's got opinions. He's in the fore. Oh, he's there to quit at the end. Okay. Yes, good on you, man.
The clue was that throughout the episode he called Santos. So then I was like, okay, clearly we're supposed to believe that this guy is Latino.
Yes.
That's going to be
that's his cred
to this case.
Yeah.
So, and that is indeed what happened.
Yeah, and I mean, I liked that he was uncomfortable the moment they started on this particularly. He was noticeably uncomfortable, and then he at the end did something about it. That was, I liked that. But it still is, it would have been more meaningful had it been somebody we had seen before.
Yes.
As a meaningful part of his campaign. If Sheila had dropped out about it, that would have meant something.
Right.
But,
she was pretty mad, though.
Yeah, she was.
She was pretty mad when she found out that Vinnick lied to George Rohr, which cracked me up when they called him the rural juror this episode. Which, if you've ever watched 30 Rock, is a running joke on that show.
Yeah.
So, yes, it was very politics heavy. It was all about the campaigns, kind of like, if he does this, then I have to do that, or let's do this so that he has to respond. And it's depressing in that way.
Yes, and I am honestly, they talked on the West Wing a little bit about wondering whether that was actually the case. I am certain that is actually the case. I bet that is the way campaigns will run. And as they said on the podcast, that's why in order to run, especially for the very high and very powerful offices, you have to be just really kind of a raging egomaniac, because who else would want to do that? I've always thought, it would be the worst kind of hell to have to run for something like that.
Oh, yeah,
so
I agree.
It does not, normal people, I think, do not want to go much further. Even city council can get crazy. Just stay in your house.
Yeah.
Live your life.
School board, no thanks.
No, yeah. Any level where you have to expose yourself to that kind of public nitpicking. I mean, just even being on Twitter is too much stress for me. So.
Oh, yeah, this is why I'm not on Twitter anymore.
Exactly.
It was all, it was the election, not just like the sky is falling, oh my God. But, agreeing with people about the things that were going wrong was stressful enough without all of the other information or, conversations that were happening.
Yeah. So I can't imagine wanting to be any part of this kind of campaign, even not the main person, even just having to be buffeted about by this nonsense on a constant basis.
Yeah, and
think
all
ahead of the other person and do something that's going to sabotage the other person. Ha!
Right.
Gotcha!
And just all of that sort of like predicting, well, if we say this or do that, then this is going to be the response from the press. This is going to be the response from the party. This is going to be the response from the other campaign. And it's all optics, basically.
Yes.
I mean, it's almost none of it is, if we do this, then they can respond with XYZ policy. Like, that's not going to happen. Although Vinnick did actually propose a new piece of legislation as part of his... Right. But it was with a very ulterior motive.
Yeah. And that bit where in his speech where he set it up for Santos to get called on this thing that he voted yes for before he voted no, he just sort of slips that in. Oh, I'm not sure what his record was. You'll have to check that. It reminded me of that time where CJ was trying to manipulate who was going to be investigating the MS thing and just sort of dropped into a press briefing, oh, you might want to look up this person's work so that it would show that he was connected with somebody else and therefore would be disqualified. Right. All this, gosh, it's exhausting. And, when you think about, this is all taking place before social media was part of the equation. And it was still like lightning from one thing to the next. This was back when, Drudge Report, this is some new thing that people are taking seriously. And now it would be, somebody would be taking a picture of it with their phone and putting it on Twitter, like, while you're getting in the car. Yeah. So, and
all the candidates are expected to be keeping up with everything on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. Very tough.
So even this level of campaign immediacy is stressing me out. I can't even imagine. But we're going to get more of this. This is what this season is going to be about. So, yeah.
Right. Yes, strap in.
But, good performances and good writing.
I would have liked to see a little more of Janine Garofalo. I mean, now that she's on the team, let's have more.
Yes.
I enjoyed the parts we got, but...
Yeah, but she was just we need somebody to follow Santos around in this scene. Oh, yeah, it can be Lou. It wasn't, there was nothing, she was not bringing anything unique to the table, I don't think. It could just as easily have been Josh. It could just as easily have been Bram or any of the other staffers we've seen. It was just, we're paying her paycheck, let's put her in 3 scenes.
We better use her.
So, I mean, good for her.
Yeah.
Get your face on TV there. But, yeah. It was,
I'd like to see more.
Yeah, it was a good, well done episode, and I was happy to have a break from the looming scandal in the White House, which I think will probably come back next week, except we won't be watching it next week.
That's right.
So, although we will be continuing with So You Think You Can Dance, we are going to take a week off from The West Wing on the assumption that the West Wing Weekly podcast will be throwing in one of the special episodes they've been doing to pad this last season out as far as they possibly can. So to fill the space, we're finally getting to our discussion of The Four Seasons, the 1981 movie written, directed by, and starring Alan Alda, that will at least give us a little bit of an Arnie Vinnick fix, plus some Rita Moreno thrown in for our missing of One Day at a Time.
That's right.
And that is going to be it for our round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Goodbye, Catherine.
Bye, Terry.
Goodbye, everybody.